Hello and welcome to the first episode of On Our Stage, a podcast about theater and the people who make it, hosted by the people who facilitate it. Literally. My name is Greg and I'm the co-owner of the StageCrafts. My wife Jen and I manage and operate small performing arts venues in Hollywood for our living. Today, I'm sitting on the stage of the Hobgoblin Playhouse in Hollywood as I prepare to interview Mary Bonney and Wesley Lechner, 2/3 of the creative team behind One Up the Musical. This award-winning, family-friendly, epic 80s musical follows Bryson, an ambitious but untested video game programmer who develops her own game and learns the importance of community and the cost of unbridled ambition. One Up the Musical opens Saturday, February 21st at the Madnani Theater in Hollywood and runs for 4 performances. All curtains are at 2 p.m. Tickets are on sale now, and you can use the discount code on our stage to save $5 a seat. Use the link in the video description below, or just hit that QR code right there. All right, without further ado, let's meet our guests. All right, we are here with Mary and Wesley from One Up the Musical, the writers of the book of One Up the Musical. So glad to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We're so excited to talk about the show.
Literally nothing I like talking about more. So.
Well, I guess we're in luck then. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. So, well, first off, you guys wrote the book for this, yes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We Fantastic. Wrote it together. I'm sorry?
We wrote it together.
Wrote it together. That's awesome. It's always good to have a writing team. You know, it helps with writer's block and other tricky situations.
So much easier to get through ideas. Is this one good or bad? Bad, great.
Yeah. Cool. Toss that and move on to the next one. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. How did you guys both first get involved in theater to begin with?
Well, I did Fringe last year.
No, that's not true. You've done
I have done theater before. But I have a much more extensive background in more like TV and film.
Okay.
But I did do a show in 2017. I co-wrote the book again and lyrics this time for a show called Willy Wonka and the Weed Factory, which was a satire around, it was like right around the legalization of weed and just like the process of it. And that went up at the Fremont Center Theater. Super fun show to put on.
Yeah.
So, and then I directed that one. And I've done that and then otherwise like sketch comedy and like improv has been a lot of my intro into theater. But it had been a couple years since I had like done any real theater pieces. And then Mary had been working on this for a few years and came to me and was like, oh, you know, I like the story, but the book's not where I want it. Like, you know, she was still kind of working on like figuring out how to shape the whole story. And I remember one fateful afternoon, I was like, you know what? Come over to mine, give me what you have, and let's just talk it out. Because sometimes you just need somebody else's brain on something when you're that close to it. And we spent like 2 hours going through it. And she left that day. And I just remember as she left, I was like, I really want to write this. This is such a fun idea. And we just like had so much fun brainstorming and coming up with like which characters, like it was like she had come in with such a clear theme of what she wanted the show to be about and like some very fun characters. And I just remember reading it and I was like, love this guy, don't need him. This character needs to, like, it just felt like I just like got the pieces and was like, I know how to play with these. And so she left that day and I was like, wow, I really want to write this, but it's like, it's her project. So like, I just, you know, I got to bless and release. And then like, was it that night? Or
I think it was a couple of days later, but we were going to the Fringe Festival in 2024 and we were seeing Big the Musical, which just opened up off Broadway in New York. And as the lights were going down, my fiance was like, oh, you guys are producing the show together. And he's not in the industry. So he just, producer to him is like anyone who does anything, you know. And so
I think even you guys, oh, you're going to write it
together. Yeah. And
both of us just sort of was like, oh, no. She doesn't want this.
You want?
And then it was like, we both like locked in and we're like, wait,
do you want to do this?
I might want, it's like the lights are literally dimming and like the opening notes of Mud Dirt are coming up and we're like, well, we should talk after.
It was very kiss. It's so funny you mentioned the notes. I was cleaning my room and I didn't even know it was in this drawer, honestly. This is the outline I gave her and her notes are on the side and I couldn't throw it away when I was going through it. So
absolutely frame that.
Yeah, that's
That'll be in the Broadway Museum one day.
I had her initial it, sign it, and date it because I was like, these were such good notes. I'm gonna keep them as the show develops. And I found it the other day when I was cleaning out my desk.
How far have you guys ranged from those notes in the development since?
Not, I mean, it's only
cool.
held it further.
They were a really good guiding light because, like I said, there was a lot that was already there. And I think the big thing, because Mary has done a lot more producing and I've done a lot more writing. And I think the big thing that came together was just figuring out what she already had needed to be pulled forward. And like, so there was like so much already there. And there was also like, Mary had such a clear idea of like what this theme is. Like, I think the thing you said to me that really resonated was like, I really want to champion this idea of like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Which I was like, I read that and I heard that from her. And I was like, I know what this story is. I know what we want to tell. Like, I know what this needs to be. And I can just see it so clearly. And it was just like, it felt like, this is so dramatic, but like, you know, like when it's like Michelangelo's like the statue of David was in the marble. I just needed to chip away. It was like, that was what it felt like. It was like, the story is in here. I just need to like chip at the right parts and it will like the Greek statue will appear.
Which she very much did. I come from a lot of theater as well. Like I was born and raised in DC, grew up going to see musicals at the Kennedy Center. And that's where I really fell in love with storytelling. Went to my high school, did a lot of really great theater productions, did a cappella in college, moved at very cool thing. It was around Pitch Perfect. So it was cool.
That was a cool thing to do then, yeah.
They did a cappella with that tone of
because
voice.
we all know it's like it's very cheesy and fun. But it was so fun. And then came out here and mainly did improv. And that was my connection to LA theater. And got into producing and working on set and a lot of like line producing, budgeting, scheduling, but then started going to the Fringe Festival. At this point, it was like over 10 years ago. And the team that really inspired me was Robot Teammate and the Accidental Party.
Love those guys.
I mean, they were just,
they're incredible.
They're so incredible. They're so brilliant. They're so kind. I remember I saw them at the cage match at UCB, or not UCB, IO West.
Oh my God, RIP IO West.
I mean, they were like winning it for like months. And I remember coming up to them after and just being like, you guys are so cool. And they just like welcome.
And they're like, yeah, we know Chris Bramante
like,
with the long dramatic.
Oh my God, Chris Bramante. I actually lived. I lived like around the block from him. We found out in WeHo. And so there would be days I would just come over and we would hang out. It was very, very cool. But they, watching them do Fringe, and consistently putting up like some of the best quality shows with such strong characters and humor and great music. And it just, it's that thing of, you can't imagine yourself doing it until you see someone like you doing it. And watching them doing it was like a big goal. Cause I'm very much in the indie film world, and it's very hard to finance a film, even at a low budget. It's hard to do anything under like $1 million. But when you look at the Fringe Festival and theater in general, obviously it's a smaller audience and harder to get money back, but it's just so achievable. And so it was a big goal of mine to put up a musical at the Fringe because I knew a musical film was going to take a long time to develop and finance and get made. But I'm lean much more producer than writer. So it was really great that Wesley came in and was able to pull out these great things. And I hope every artist really believes in collaboration because every step of the way our show has been a collaboration with everyone we've brought on, from the actors to the producers to our set designer. And so I feel very lucky that Wesley has made it what it is, and it wouldn't be that without her and all of our team. So
I think that my favorite part about working on this show has been like every time new people come aboard, you can see them inspired to bring greatness to it. And it's just like, it's
okay, you're crying.
I'm not going to cry.
You're gonna let him ask us.
First episode, tears are allowed. It's all good. Yeah.
Fine. No, it's just, but it is true. It's like, it's really powerful to work on something and feel like people want to be a part of that team. And it's been like just a dream. And do I cry about it sometimes? Yeah.
That's okay. I love that. I mean, and what you're talking about, bringing people in and they're inspired to, take it further and inspired to greatness. Honestly, that's a testament to the working environment that you're running and the team that you have there and that sense of teamwork and family that, I mean, that you have. I mean, when you're getting involved in a process, you can gauge really quickly 99% of the time how much you want to invest. And I try to, when in the shows that I produce, I always try to present an environment where people are inspired to that kind of greatness too. And you guys have that. That is lightning in a bottle. That is incredibly important. And that is a wonderful thing to see and hear. And honestly, I mean, I missed it at Fringe last year. I feel terrible. I actually got to get out and see shows last year, but even still, it was limited. Like back in the day, before I started running venues, I had the record for most shows seen one year with 68.
You beat Spencer Frankenberger, one of our associate producers.
2 years later, he killed my record 2 years later.
I was going to say, he's the king of Fringe. He helped us on our original run at Fringe.
Self-described king.
I was like, please.
Yeah. But he backs it up.
I would text him like every day. I'm like, Spencer, I have a question about this, about that. And he was so generous and so fast with responding with his time. But
that's another great thing about Fringe. Just
the community, absolutely.
Spirit.
Oh my gosh, we could talk this whole podcast about Fringe. They just posted a video of me. I'm one of the people talking about why to do Fringe, and I was like, when they asked me to say something, I was like, how long do you have?
Yeah, right. No joke. No, it's such a wonderful. It's not just an incubator. It's not just a crucible. It's definitely both of those things, but it's also a community, a tribe, a family, an identity. I mean, it is being a part of it, having the scars of putting up a show and having that experience. I mean, I say scars because it's like I have literal physical scars in some cases, but also the mental and the emotional exhaustion ones. Ben Hill back in the day, the now executive director emeritus of the festival used to say, "We'll sleep in motherfucking July," and it's true. It is a marathon, but that you're not running against everybody. Everybody's in there running with you. Yes. It's such a vibe because of that.
It's such a rising tide lifts all boats feeling.
Absolutely.
It's like if we all do great, then it promotes the festival doing great, and it just gives everybody that much more ability to show the work that they love. And that's the thing is I think in a city that is so tied, art and commerce are so tied together in LA, it's like this one bastion of artistic purity where people are coming to that weird idea that they can't sell necessarily, but they know in their heart is something worth creating. Fringe is where you can do it.
100%. Absolutely. No, it's, and it's amazing what finds legs and what goes on to bigger things. I mean, here at the StageCrafts, we are committed to helping elevate shows beyond the Fringe, finding bigger stages. That's why we have the LA Freeway Circuit, where we're taking shows around greater LA County, because not everybody, I say that anybody within 5 miles of Hollywood is willing to drive into Hollywood on a Friday night to come in and see a show. But outside of that, good luck. It's got to be a friend or somebody that owes you a life debt, especially if it's on the other side of the 405.
I would say if you live on the east side and someone you're dating lives on the west side, that's a long distance relationship.
That is a long distance relationship. Yeah, forget it, man. Asking them to traverse the 10 on a Friday night at rush hour, that's
they really gotta love you.
Yeah, that is a love language. Driving in LA traffic is a love language in and of itself. Yeah. So yeah, getting back. I've only seen the show in tech, and I've seen it in fits and spurts and bits and bops, and already I'm completely enamored with it. I've read the script, I've heard the cast album, and I'm just mind melting about how awesome this is. And when we were talking about it in tech, you guys said that this is not a Fringe show. This is a show happening at Fringe. And I agree with that. This thing is bigger. It's a beast, and what I love about Hannah's vision for it, the director, Hannah,
shout out. We love her.
Shout out. She's awesome. One of the easiest directors I've ever worked with. Just knows what she wants and gets shit done and is like, cool, I'm not married to this. If we don't have time to do it right now, we'll save it for the next iteration. And she's already iterating the show in her mind to be like, V1 was Actors Company at Fringe when it premiered. V2 is here. V3 is off Broadway, and we're gonna have, it's gonna climb exponentially. I already love the fact that you guys have a vision for it and a growth plan, and you want to see it go far. I think a lot of people come to do Fringe and then go, yay, I did it. What now? You know, and then either go and do a new show or just don't do theater again because it was so much or whatever, you know. But I think if you have a good show, a successful show, that is a commodity. I mean, not to get too economical. Well, what is the show to begin with? Because we kind of jumped right into it. Like, but let's introduce the show itself here. Let's talk about like what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, One Up is an 80s video game musical that really, the music really leans into like the 80s sound and vibe, but it's also like musical with a capital M. Like, we are people that are not shy about the fact that we love musicals. We joked a lot when we were making it about how like a lot of movie musicals try and trick audiences in their advertisement into not.
Right.
Yes, Mean Girls did
which
it.
is so weird to me because there are people that love musicals and there are people that hate musicals, and like both are valid, I guess. But we love musicals, and people who love musicals want to go see musicals. So why would you not tell people this is a musical?
Willy Wonka. I was trying to think of other ones.
Proud.
Yeah, that did it. So we capital M musical.
Yeah. We just like, we're so in love with the music and the way
written by Matt Dahan. We have
another shout out
composer who's
with
just like
Team Starkid. Yeah.
Yes, he's a musical director of Team Starkid. He's directed their last 5 shows. He also records all their albums.
Wow.
And produces them. So we were really fortunate he recorded ours of that same caliber. He also has a radio show called Pulp Musicals that he does with a lot of the Starkid cast. And they just released, I think, their 5th album. He's for lack of a better word, genius prodigy. Yeah. And it's true. But the music is incredible. The music is how I got so many people on board outside of the store. I would just like play them the demos and they would be like, this is insane.
The first time I heard the opening, I straight up cried in a U-Haul.
We got to tell what the show's about, though.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. No, this is all great though.
Okay.
And it follows our main character, Bryson, who's like very young and excited. She really wants to be a video game programmer. And so she sneaks a game that she has programmed into the testing day for the company that she works at. And it tests so well that the company reluctantly lets her develop her idea. And it's really about her journey of both learning how to do the job that she wants to and follow her dream, and also learning how to work with a team and build a team and inspire people to come along on the journey. And we were really inspired by this idea of like, what does it mean to be an ambitious young woman, and how do you balance ambition with treating people well and making that journey and inspiring people to join you rather than like ruling with an iron fist kind of idea. And like, what does ambition in a good way look like? And what does it look like in a bad way? And like, does it need to be a dirty word, or do we just need to like be really intentional about how we pursue our dreams? So it's like, it's really a show about like how to dream big and how to keep your soul in the process.
Yes, that's a great description.
I was
very inspired by it because for a long time, I really wanted to work at a studio. I was in independent filmmaking in the digital world a lot. And I was so eager to be at a studio, and I got a chance to work at two, and they were wonderful working experiences. And I grew so much as a producer, but it was just not what I expected. It was very hierarchical. It was tough to get things done. I mean, obviously I was a lower level executive, but it wasn't what I was expecting. And I think that was a real shock because it took a really long time to get to that place. And so this musical is a real reflection of like, of that. And also at the center of it is a mentorship between a younger woman and an older woman. And in this run, I play the older mentor character. And I say a lot, like, it's the mentor I wish I had, because I did not have older women in the industry. When I did, when they did give me advice, I know that obviously they came up at a very different time where there was room for like one woman, and it was very competitive, and you had to put a lot of emphasis on your looks and all these things that these are all like they're truths to them and they're truthful to their experience. But I didn't have that mentor. And so I really want to be a mentor to younger women in the industry. And it's really cute because Bryson, played by Alana Hernandez, who's amazing. I feel like I've become her, like she's my little mentee too. And Hannah, I watch Hannah direct her, and I just see like the relationship I wish I had and what we wrote about like happening in real time in rehearsals between me and Alana, and Hannah and Alana, and you and Alana. It's really cool to see it happening, and something that I really wish I had. So
yeah, a big thing both of us talked about, like thematically as we were working on the show, is just how we both feel like we've struggled to find mentors in the industry that we want to be in. Mentors in general, but specifically female mentors. And mentoring is like, it's a heavy lift.
It's a lot of work.
It's free labor to bring people up a ladder with you when you're also still trying to climb. It's like, do I want to climb up with both hands, or do I want to climb up with one while like holding somebody who's below me? Like it's hard, and I don't necessarily blame people for not wanting to put that work in. But I also think it's the only way structural change will ever happen in this industry. It's like, you have to do the heavy work of bringing people up with you. And so a big thing that we talked about is like, we really wanted the dynamic I love between Carol and Bryson is that like, Carol is sort of like, I always say about Carol, she's a cynic that wants to be proven wrong. And Bryson is like the optimist whose optimism has never been tested. Yeah. And they both like get something out of each other in that process. And I think like mentorship should feel like reciprocal. There should be something that you get out of bringing people up with you. And so I think we really loved this idea of two women in a very male dominated industry finding a way to help each other achieve the dreams that they have.
I should also mention, speaking of female mentorship, when I was developing this, at first I was very scared because I was like, I don't know what it's like to make an 80s video game. Like, I have no idea how to create one. And I started reaching out to women who were in that industry. And a lot of them like didn't want to talk because they've been approached a lot. There's very few people, few women. But one that responded very quickly was a woman named Dona Bailey, and she's the first female arcade game programmer. She co-created Centipede, which is in every barcade ever. And she was so supportive from the get-go of like, there was one version of the musical that was just like very technically how to make this game. And I got notes of like, this is not interesting. Like, we get it. You know how to do it. Take what matters to move the plot forward, but like, don't get into it too deep. But she actually, after like 2 years of us talking, invited me to, there was an opening of an exhibit at the Rochester Museum of Play, which I think is a children's museum primarily. Yeah. And it was women in video games. And she invited me as her guest. And there were all these women from that era. And I remember she took me out. They had a big, they went to like a steakhouse dinner. They took all the women. And I remember sitting at the table. Like, she literally gave me a seat at the table with these women. And she continues to be like, she was texting me the other day, like, we're just friends now. And she's been so supportive of the show, and also like has been a female mentor. I called her when I broke up with someone a couple of years ago, and I was like, Donna, I'm never going to find anyone. Like, I'm so sad. And she's like, Mary, I've been through this too. Like, I never got married. Like, it's okay if you never get married. Like, it's very cool that in the process of looking for a female mentor, like, I found one in Donna, and we're still very good friends.
And she's cool. She's credited as a consultant on the show. Yeah. And she has you might notice a cameo.
Yeah, she does have a cameo.
I didn't want to spoil that, but yeah, no, I love that.
Spoil that. We should spoil it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think the surprise will still be where it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, my God, I love all that. That's just.
I forget to talk about it. It's just like there's so much love about the show, and I'm like, oh right, this like woman who nobody like knows about. Like, she got pushed out of the industry because it was so male dominated, and who knows what kind of game she could have made. Like, it was her idea on Centipede to like make it a bug so you're not killing people. It was her idea to like make it the controls that you use and you're not just like smashing all the time, or the joystick is more like the ball. Like, she's a pioneer, and not enough people know about her. So we definitely got her in the show to honor her that way too.
Yeah. I think like a big thing we wanted this show to feel like it was not, we have like this thread of, feminism and talking about women throughout it. But we also think that like what these characters are going through is universal. Like, we want all of our audience to feel connected to it. But I think it's just like that specificity of like those little elements of what it feels like to be a woman kind of struggling with the same things that everybody struggles with, and having to navigate these other elements of like in this industry just it was just so great to be able to do a little thing like just get Dona Bailey's name out there a little bit more and just be like, hey, this person existed and pioneered something and deserves to be known and recognized.
Yeah, that's not just uplifting the people behind you. That's sending the ladder back down for people who got shoved off. And that's crucial. You know, that's incredibly important. I love that. Thank you for doing that. For sharing.
Like, but if she hadn't gotten on the phone with me and explained to me like the steps and that like demo day was a thing and you bring in testers and like their feedback, you know, I was like, how is this girl going to get her game? And I'm like, oh, well, if they have a day like this and her game is undeniable, which is like a song in the show, but it is true. Like, be so good, it's undeniable. I think Steve Martin also, that's a quote.
Yeah,
right?
be so good they can't ignore you.
Yeah.
And like for women, that tends to be like,
you have to
be so good that they feel beaten over the head by it and like they can't ignore it. You know what I mean? It's just like that, which is why we have a song in the show called Undeniable, and it's about how like Bryson has to be undeniable if she wants to move through this industry and be successful.
So Dona did that for me, so I'm happy to honor her. I love Dona.
But that's what I'm talking about, the reciprocation of mentorship. It goes both ways. There's something so valuable and to be learned from, like, because we're trying to find mentors, and at the same time there are younger people on our show that we look to mentor too, and it's just so validating, and like it's wonderful to watch people flourish when they're given the opportunity to.
I love that. So I'm getting a sense of like how the story came together here, you know, and you guys had some incredibly strong themes and lots of notes, and you know, obviously you've got the music, the book came together. Was Fringe the premiere? Was that the first time that it all like was performed live?
Yeah,
that was our premiere.
We did not treat it like a Fringe show. I mean, I was very fortunate. Like, I was able to set aside money and also take time off of work. I freelance, so I was able to be like, okay, these 3 months are just Fringe, and if this is the only opportunity we get to put up this show, then we gotta do it up. So yes, but it was very quickly realized as people came on board, like, this needs to go past Fringe, and like after the show's audience members coming up being like, do more with this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, really
like really aggressively, nicely, but like you have to do stuff. You have to go further with this show. So I think that's when we're like, okay, and we got an encore, and now we're so happy to be at the Madnani this month. So we're
excited to have you guys. I'm super, super stoked for this. You know, I didn't get to see it at Fringe last year. I know I mentioned that before, but everybody had been buzzing about it. Like I kind of have my ear to the ground. I'm always talking to people as they're coming through my theater. And One Up was one of the top shows that everybody was talking about. It seems like audience reaction was, you know, like incredibly passionate. Was there anything surprising about how the audiences reacted to it?
Oh, that's such a good question.
I think there were the audience, like we put moments in the show where we were like, we want the audience to be like a little bit interactive. It's not like an interactive show, but there were elements where we were like, we want to make sure this moment brings the audience in a bit. And I think it was really cool to see moments that the audience picked to interact outside of those. And again, like very respectful ways. But I think there were some moments, I don't want to like spoil anything, but there's just like some moments where we were like, okay, like this is going to happen. And like, we're going to get the audience kind of like in on it with us. And like, sometimes it was like before that moment happened, they were already doing the thing that we had like set up for them to do. Like, we were like, oh, they came in early, but like, it's so fun. So I think just how engaged people were. And there were always like things that people would laugh at. They were like, oh, like that's the thing I love about live audiences. It's like, you can be like, well, this is a joke that we wrote. So we were expecting a laugh here, and like, phew, we got it. But then like, this was just an exposition line that like the actor said in a way that like the audience like it's
that brings
just
the house down. Yeah. And it's always the unexpected stuff.
It's that's also because we have an amazingly talented cast.
Out of this world.
Half of our cast I met during the strikes. I went back to doing improv, and I did musical improv at UCB. And I met people like James Beardsley and Eric Olson, who are two of our leads, who like they could read the phone book and it's funny.
Yeah.
Like they're so funny. And they were truly lines that were just like, these are lines we need to give information to move the story along. I mean, James just every rehearsal, he tries something different. And then that's the magic of working with improvisers. They're and giving them a place where they feel safe to play, which was a big priority.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that I couldn't believe how funny our cast is and how every show they would find different ways to deliver lines and make lines hilarious that were just informational.
Yeah, well, even things like our antagonist of the show, whose name is also Greg,
who Wesley's married to.
I'm also married to, full disclosure. So I've got him. But like, we did not necessarily write him to be funny. We wrote him to be an antagonist. Yeah. And like, there are so many lines of his that get laughs just because of the choices that he made of like how to play this character.
And his physicality.
He's so in it. He's so talented. And then like also just because Fringe moves so fast, there's only so many opportunities that you have to like, it's like we prioritize making sure people could sing. And then when we got to dance rehearsals, we had a choreographer and we were like, just so you know, like, you know, we prioritize singers. We're not really sure like what level of dance they're at. So like, you know, keep it simple. We want them to be fun moves, but keep them simple. And we got to our first choreography rehearsal and the stuff that he was throwing out, we were like, ooh, this might be a little hard. They picked it up.
Oh my God.
So fast. Like,
they were so
we
good.
were like, are you guys good with this? Is this too much? And they were like, no, more, please. And like, the dance, like they just at every point, I have said the biggest challenge in producing this show at every single point has been telling people your idea is amazing. We need to make it a little bit smaller to fit in the space that we have and the time that we have and like just like the resources available to us for this, which is I think why we feel so strongly that the show has legs beyond this because like so many people have come to us with like I remember our first time we met with our costume designer and she had like plotted out like how many days that we had, like she had just had all of these ideas of like the transitional costumes throughout and we were like, okay, think cartoon character, like everybody wears the same outfit the whole time.
I was so moved. I was like, I want to make this happen and you've put so much time into it. And as a producer, like when you meet people like that who are, you know, and we paid stipends, I made sure like that was a big thing for me. Everyone got paid, but I just was so blown away. I was like, I didn't know how to handle like pulling it back. I was like, we have to pull it back. But my God, the work that you've done just initially mapping out and thinking of these
like,
outfits.
How do you tell people who are wickedly talented to like do less? You know what I mean?
It's really
and
hard.
like it's such a weird thing. But also it's like I think it's the power of like, you know, like even our director, like she comes to the table with like so much and we're like, okay, we can accomplish like 2/3 of this with the resources we have. But like that means we're putting it all on the table every time when we do a run of the show, because it's like, I was like, the worst thing to me would be that we like rehearse and we have time left over because we just like ran out of ideas on it. You know what I mean? And I think it's like every time we're just like, we're always having to like figure out, okay, how do we find what's the best distillation of what we have with the resources and the time that we have to accomplish it. And it's been so special to just have like, okay, well, it's great to know that next level, we have this in our pocket already.
Yeah.
Damn. Absolutely. Well, and the best part is that, you know, you talk to that costumer and you're like, okay, we love this. Let's save this for Broadway, you know, or let's save this for, you know, like we're going to like, so the work it's not wasted. It's just scaled back temporarily until you get that, you know, because I feel like work like this attracts attention. Work like this attracts support and supporters. You know, I mean, Jen and I are both big believers in this show. You know, even just with our limited experience with it so far, we're already huge believers in it. And we hope that we can help support it get further, you know, wherever it goes, like whatever we can do. So what was... how has it grown from Fringe to the Madnani run? Like as we're talking about iterations and growth, like how has it changed? What has been upgraded? What does V2 look like?
Oh God.
Well,
where do we start?
Where do we, okay. Well, one thing I do want to say, just to give a shout out to, and a big thing that came out of doing the run is that we have, and we maybe already mentioned it, but I just want to say it again. We have an original cast album with all of our original Fringe cast on Spotify. So that's been like kind of
nice.
That was like a level 1.5. Like we always planned on doing that, but it's been a really cool, it sounds so good. Like, I listen to it on repeat. But it's like, that's been a really great way to just feel like an elevation of what we could do, because like, you know, without all the visuals, you can just like, the music is just like so phenomenal. Again, Matt Dahan, genius. But in terms of like level 2 in the show itself, a big thing. So speaking of multi-hyphenate talent within our cast, one of our ensemble members also does like stage design.
Yes, D'Angelo Reyes.
D'Angelo Reyes, or another shout out. He does like stage design. And so when we realized, like, for people who maybe aren't familiar with Fringe, you get 15 minutes to load everything in before your show, and 15 minutes to load everything
including
out,
your audience.
including your audience.
Yeah.
You
have about 7 minutes to get your shit in. And
it's really, you have way less, because you got to get them all in, and you have to start on time.
You have to start on time, because there's other shows coming in after you. So if you run long, like, you could get lights shut out.
They'll throw the lights up on you and kick you out. Yeah, absolutely.
It's,
as a venue owner, we've only ever had to do that twice. In 8 years of running venues, we've only had to do that twice out of hundreds of performances. But you do it once, and they know they're not messing with you anymore. You know. So
So I think our biggest, one of the many challenges of Fringe was just like, how do we, because this show, again, like, I think our biggest challenge is that it feels big, and we had to translate that bigness with in a small, like, with everything being smaller. And so the big thing that's been lovely about the Madnani is that we can keep things there. We can keep costumes there. We can keep set pieces there. We can put stuff up. So D'Angelo was able, like, we went up to him and we're like, hey, we want to add some of these elements. Like, do you know anyone? And he was like, me. I know me. I would like to do this. We were like, great. Amazing. That was what we were hoping you would say.
It was great. Also, obviously, the lighting design. I mean, Greg, we were just in the Madnani last night.
That's true. We were there finishing it last night.
We've done a couple late night techs outside of our time with our cast to really take advantage of the theater and its tech capabilities. I've heard from many people who did Fringe at your theater last year, like the tech and your ability to tech. Really elevates the show. And I think our show is so big, so colorful. Like what we were doing with the lights last night, oh my God, was so exciting. So being able to, because again, when you don't have the space or the time to build huge sets, we do have sets and they look amazing. But we learned at Fringe, like, you have to lean into lighting, you have to lean into costumes, into props, into all the other ways you color the world.
Almost everything except set normally, because set is like the one thing that you don't really have. You don't have time to put in a box set. You can't zip screws into a deck and, have flats up. You have to do everything via suggestion, or you have to have like 20 people helping you fire line stuff in, which I have seen that happen. Happen well is a whole different story, But
No, I know people get a lot of amazing sets at Fringe, and like couches and whole living rooms are built in like 5 minutes. But I think the lighting adds so much to this show, especially the like bigger ensemble numbers, and most of our songs are very high energy. And I think the lights have really complemented that. And I won't ruin the surprise, but there was something I really wanted to do at Fringe that we didn't have the time to do, and we're doing it in the show. And it's like, we have a million things to do, but I find a way to bring it up like every day of like, we're still doing this thing. But it's a surprise at the end of the show that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I think it's just been the ability to, the fact that we have so much time ahead of and after the show to set up and to clean up has allowed us to add more permanent elements that are elevating the show, which has been really, really exciting.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, and I'm proud to be part of this. Like I grew up with the original Nintendo system.
So many people did, yes.
Yeah, so I'm 44. I'm of that generation. I was born in 81. My first system was a Nintendo. I played Mario. I started playing Mario at 5-6 years old, and I was just all up on it. I had the Super Nintendo. I had the N64. I had, like the PlayStation. College, I became a PlayStation guy and never looked back,
Right.
But all about it. And so this resonates for me on a personal level, because I'm like, oh, you're talking about my youth, like what I started with, I don't know how old you both are, and I'm not going to ask you to say online here, but you both seem to be significantly younger than me. So, I feel like the old timer here being like, well, back in my day, but yeah, like there's so much about it that just rings true,
Yeah. And there's and so many people do love the older video games, and we didn't want to just make a show that was like, here's a bunch of video game references. Like, it has to have heart, it has to have a story. Yeah. But when I think of like my first earliest memories of like friendship and late nights and hanging out, it was playing like NES games, and then going into it and being like, oh, the people that made them were like a very small team, and arcade games like even smaller. Like it would be, 4 or 5 people at the most. And now you look at modern day video games where it's like thousands of people work on them and they're movies. I think that was just a really interesting thing to explore too, of like, how did this small team of people make a game that like so many of us, I mean, obviously our game is fictional in the show, but how did they do that? And isn't it incredible that it's such a touchstone to so many people now? And we have so many like barcades in LA. I had my birthday at one 3 years ago, and we're still playing these games.
Like, there's so much nostalgia, even if like those arcade games, like Miss Pac-Man was my jam. But like all of those games like have this element of nostalgia and like sociability too, like this idea of going to a place to be around
an arcade,
arcades, like, oh yeah, I don't know. And I think too, just like there's so many impressive things that are happening with games today, but this idea of like a small group of people that are just really passionate about an idea and really want to like work together to get it off the ground is something that really resonates with me, because I think that sometimes some of the magic can get lost when you have so many people and so many gatekeepers that are involved, and just like getting back to like, what are these 3 people really excited about, and how can we like bring that excitement into the, like, you can just tell the difference between a project where somebody was in love with what they were making versus somebody was clocking in to make something that, to make money, which, is valid. We all need to work. Absolutely. But,
and there are also indie games makers today too. I don't want to like discount. There are indie.
No, not at all. No, I mean, Steam and Epic Game Store, they're all full of all these wonderful independent gamers, some of them who just capture that retro vibe of 8-bit and 16-bit gaming. And, there is a renaissance of all that going on, where it is that same, and also not to mention, because I have a Fallout podcast, and Fallout has an incredible modding. I'm sorry?
My fiance loves Fallout.
We're following the TV show, but the folks of us who are on the podcast also play the games religiously, and like the modding communities, for Fallout, for GTA, for all these where people are just doing this work for fun, and as an act of passion. It's like, video games are an art form in and of themselves. Like they have absolutely, like, from it's the same passion and the same drive and the same need that inspires people to write books or create movies or create theater that fuels video games. Absolutely. Especially because video games now are their own form of narrative,
Oh my gosh. They're movies. They're incredible. They're stunning. I can't say enough good things.
And like the community that forms around them is just as strong as the communities that form around, like, book clubs or TV shows and stuff like that. It's like, when you find something that makes people connect with each other, that is magic. Like, and that to me is the magic of creating any form of art, video games or anything, is just like when it makes people go, I need to go out in the world and find other people that like this thing.
Yes.
And connect with them.
Share and commiserate.
Like, I just think that's like, I just love it. It's what makes it all worth the hard work. Because it's hard.
It's hard.
It is. You're pouring everything you got into it, and it's just like creating theater too. It's just like there are days when it's like it's all worth it, and there are days where it's like this is crushing my soul, but you pick up and you keep going, and then you find the days that are worth it, and it's like this is why we did it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, it's like that joke of like, I didn't want to work a 9 to 5, so I worked in the arts, and now I work 24/7. It's like I can resonate, I did.
Of course,
yeah. No, we formed Theater Unleashed, and Theater Unleashed is what I did when I wasn't at my day job, and we were running that production company for years and years and years. And now I still have Theater Unleashed, but now my day job is running venues, so it's like I never get away from doing theater now. Theater is the job, and it's like I love it. it's killing me slowly, but I love it, and I don't want to.
I mean, you have to. There's no being in this if you don't love it. Like,
no, absolutely. And
if you don't love, that's what the love is what fuels you.
100%.
Especially in the times we're in, where just like the world feels very heavy and hard. And I know when I approached Wesley with this project, I was like, all these wonderful themes we're talking about, but I was like, for 90 minutes, it's just going to be joyful. We're going to like make people forget about what's happening outside the theater. I think our themes speak to a lot of like important values that we want people to reflect on, that could make the world better overall. But I was like, let's just leave them like so happy that they go back into the world with like a little thicker armor, like made of joy. And we did see that in spades at Fringe, after Fringe, and our encores and everything. Like we really achieved that goal of like, we gave people 90 minutes of joy, and I'm really proud of contributing that to the world.
Yeah, it's like, how do you offer joy? How do you offer hope? How do you remind people that good exists and that it's worth seeking out?
Yeah, I think people are really starved for that right now. I am. So we wrote a show that we want to see. That I think that's really good advice to anyone too. Like, I work with a lot of up and coming filmmakers who are developing projects. And I always say, like, you have to write something like you want to see, because you're going to talk about it 100 times. Yeah. Nonstop. And you're in such a marathon. We keep saying like, this is a marathon. Now that we're past Fringe and see the longevity of the show and the excitement around the show, which we're so excited about ourselves.
Now you guys are running an ultra marathon, Yeah.
It's
Fringe itself is a marathon. Now you guys are on the ultra, because now it's like, and you don't even know where the finish line is, because sky's the limit at this point.
Yeah, very much so.
And it's like the goalpost can keep moving, and you just gotta be like, I guess I'm running.
But in this context, that's great.
That's great. Yeah, we're so happy.
It is an honor and a privilege to have something that has enough legs behind it that people are asking for more. I mean, what a joy.
So real quick, Wesley, you said you'd done Fringe before, and Mary I can't remember. Did you say that you'd done
Mary
Fringe
did Fringe before? I have not. This was my first year.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you did Willy Wonka and the Weed Factory, but that was not a Fringe.
That was at Fremont Center Theater in Pasadena.
Yes. Parsons Nose is based out of there. Oh no, Fremont Center Theater. That was where Young Stars was based. That was Gloria and Jack. Jack was an old friend of mine. So but you guys hadn't had much in the way of Fringe experience before, and you came in with this hot show. Did you expect to win Best Musical? Was that something that was in your wheelhouse? Or at what moment did that be like, hey, this might actually happen? Or did you come in going like, oh fuck yeah, we got this?
Really cocky.
Great question.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I won't lie. I will say, when we were writing the book, I was so enamored with what we were writing that I did turn to Mary and say, we're gonna win.
Yeah. My whole team was very confident, and because I go to a lot of like indie film festivals, and I've gone with like a lot of projects I felt really confidently about. And I also like worked the Oscars one year. Like, I'm aware that awards are great, but they are not a reflection of the quality of the material. So I was very much like, my award is that the show that we do the show, period. That just I think Fringe is such a great way for artists to be like to make them believe that they can do things, and give them that confidence. So my award was, we do the show. And then I had gotten advice from people of like, it's very hard. Obviously it's very hard. I got told it was a boys club a couple of times, and that you have to have certain people on your team to win. So we were like,
I don't know about boys club, but there it used to be like, oh, there's the 5 families, and there's like these groups, there was like, it was Sacred Fools, it was Theater Unleashed. Yeah, we were one of the 5, but Fools Unleashed, oh my God, friggin' Jared Pixler's group, MTB, and then 2 more, and I'm just completely spacing on them. But it was like, oh, you have to be in one of the in crowds to get any traction. And I mean, categorically, if you looked at it objectively, it wasn't true, but I could understand, because you saw a lot of the same people all involved in the same projects doing
a lot of great resources and time. Like, I completely get it.
Like, Fringe is about it's about building community, and it's like it compounds. So it makes a lot of sense. Like, if you've done this multiple times, you have more of an into that community and getting people to come to your show, and it's building buzz and all of that. I think I had a little
if you've got a good show, the cream does rise to the top, and people are willing to, go out and acknowledge and support, So
totally. You also have to make, and this was something we were really championing. And again, as I mentioned, like I was able to take off time and I was like, I'm going to dedicate time. So we started going to office hours because Fringe has monthly office hours. We just went to one this week earlier. And then I don't know if it's like April or May, they started having it weekly. And we were at almost someone from our team was at almost every office hours, not only handing out postcards and getting people to come, but of course, like learning about other people's shows. And I think I went to 18 shows total during our run, of which I think had 6 shows.
It's 6 shows
plus 2. Yeah. But you really have to like go out and support other people's shows. It's a community voted award.
Yeah.
And so I remember like one of our office hours, we turned around and Haley McGaffey was like, here's my show. It's all her children. It's this very dramatic show about gun. Yeah. It was like early office hours.
And she won, I believe, Top of Fringe.
Yeah.
She's finishing her run at Soho House.
But it was so cool, like meeting her early on and we went to each other's shows. We went to a lot of shows and had wonderful artists come to our show. And so I think like we really focused on the community and truly like, I love Fringe because everyone is so passionate and so talented and such a variety of shows. So it was much less like we're going to these shows to try to like win the award and more like what a cool opportunity we have. We have a show we're really excited to talk about. So do you. Let's enjoy this month where like LA has a really strong, vibrant theater community who's showing up. Not that we don't normally, but it's very concentrated in that month, which is wonderful. So this all to say, once we got to the end of June and people are talking about your show, you're at least going to get nominated. That was very exciting. And then obviously to win was top 5 moment of my life.
And sure. I screamed.
I have never screamed. Like it was
I screamed, I cried, I blacked out.
Animal scream.
But I think too, like I feels a little cocky to come in and say like, yeah, I knew we would win. Like that's not really what it was. It was just like it was such a testament to like I loved it so much that I was like, I just feel like if we do this right, there's a shot. Like I feel like we have a shot
in the work
to do it, and I want to operate in the process of producing it as though that is something that we can achieve, because I think we can. And whether or not we won the award, I think to me, coming in with this idea of like, it is worth putting the energy in to try and it is worth believing in our ability to do it. One of my like New Year's resolutions last year was to be more delusional. And so I think part of it for me was just like, be delusional enough to think that you can like come into this community and like blow their socks off and put in the work that is needed to do that. And so like, it's awesome that we like, again, top 5 moments. So I will never forget that happening. But I think a big part of it was just like having faith that you can do it, to me, inspires me to put the work in to try to get there and to just leave it all on the table.
I'll also say we spent a lot of time developing this show before, and a lot of Fringe shows. I think it's important to recognize like are people workshopping material and putting it for the first time and testing things. So it was a little different in that I spent a very long time developing it, and just Fringe was such a great opportunity to test it out. But I will say it was probably farther along. And that was a strength, certainly.
Yeah, like Mary had already come in with like the concept and a lot of like the characters and sort of like beats and theme. And we started writing it June of 2024.
The year before,
So by the time we hit, like our goal was like, we want to have a script that we love before the new year starts. And then it was like, so we had, I think like to me, because I come from a writing background, like the script is where it lives and dies. It's like you can ruin a good script with how you produce something, but it's really hard to elevate a bad script. And so to me, it's like, once we had a script and a book and the music, and I felt really solid about those, I was like, now it's like it's ours to screw up, because like now we just need to give this what it deserves, which is like just a ton of time and attention, and picking the right team. That was a big part of it too. If you pick the right team, sky's the limit.
Absolutely. No, the people that you work with, because you get in the trenches with these folks, you gotta, there's a trust, there's a bond that has to be there. There is a communication that has to be there, and when you're working with the right people, everything flows and everything just falls into place. Like that's why, especially in Hollywood, you see the same people working together over and over and over again on the same, on successive projects, because it's like when you have someone that works and does the job right and speaks your language and you have that vibe, you don't want to give that up. I mean, Hollywood is very tribal like that, but it's because the creative process is alchemy. It's not science, and it's so critical,
Yeah.
So as we start to wrap things up here a little bit, lightning round real quick, I guess. Well, maybe not with just two of you, but
we'll try. We talk a lot. We're sorry.
Favorite moments in the show, and then we'll do favorite lines and favorite characters, but favorite moments in the show.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do a quick shout out to like basically every time Teddy, our kind of like really laid back programmer character, he has a crush on Carol, which is not a spoiler because immediately.
Yeah.
And he just our actor Eric, just every line delivery to Carol is just like so funny because he's just like down bad, and I love writing like female gaze characters for men because he's just like so. He's like, I like you, and I'm not shy, and I'm gonna just tell you, and it's just like I just think he plays it so adorably, and he makes me laugh every time.
That's awesome.
I've never thought about my favorite moment, and I knew you were gonna ask this question, and I haven't come up with anything. I still think our 11th hour song is such a standout, and I know like when Matt was writing it and when he sent it to me, and when the crowd hears it, it's one of their favorite songs. So I would say like our 11th hour song is probably my favorite part of the show. Yeah.
Amazing. And any particular lines that stand out? Any bits of dialogue that are your favorites?
Yeah. All
can I just put the whole book up here? Is that
favorite
lines? Well, I feel like the one I have is a little bit of a giveaway.
Okay. Well, we can save that. Yeah.
Yeah. But just keep your eye on the coffee pot. That's all.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. I think we have like a running thing throughout the show that I think the coffee pot is a really subtle but important metaphor in the show of like what it means to achieve beyond being the person that gets other people coffee. I'll say that.
Okay.
That's not a line. Okay. But the line is attached to that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have favorite lines because I have a great monologue I'm really proud of. I think Alana's character Bryson has a lot of like really great moments, and I think like towards the end of the show, her articulating the lessons she's learned and like what's important to her. And then there's a very funny like line that starts our finale that D'Angelo delivers that just like always kills it. It's a very like
they're all like right at the end. Yeah, so I don't want to give anything away.
Just
that you don't want to spoil too much towards the end. Yeah, good to know. Good to know though.
Every time Greg says Carol.
Yeah,
it makes me laugh because he just the way he says it, Carol.
He says that he's found such weird ways to deliver my character's name.
Yeah,
and like there's so many jokes that just live in that delivery. So let's see Patrick's delivery of it.
And as the writers, I know that all of you love all your babies equally, but which of your characters are your favorites?
No way.
Who's your favorite child?
Wow.
That's impossible.
No, I can't.
That's impossible. I mean, I have to say Bryson because she anchors the show, but like,
yeah.
And I'm in the show, and I'm not my favorite character. I think Bryson probably.
Yeah, I think it's gotta be. I think like I don't think this is necessary for every piece of work, but I just feel like Bryson is such a character you can root for, and Alana is. Our lead is she does such a great job earning her comedic moments while grounding this character and making, I mean, it's a 90-minute musical, so we're moving at a fast pace through the story, and she has to like pivot the character a few different times to get us through this journey, and she just like does it so seamlessly, and she's just like a character that you want to reach out and hug. And I love that. And I think it's such a testament, to what we wrote, but also to how much Alana has really brought to life this character in ways beyond what is on the page. And so I think that like it's really easy to love your side characters because they often get a lot of like the comedic moments.
Sure.
But there is like, this show does not work without the anchor of Bryson and without the anchor of Alana holding her where we need her to.
I love that. Well, I have to say that I am partial to Greg because Greg, I've spoken to the Council of Gregs and we all approve, especially, being with the villains.
That's so funny.
Yeah, because villains, I love playing villains personally. So
they're so fun.
Yeah, oh my God, you get all the best dialogue and you get to be an asshole and people applaud you for it,
And he has a great song.
He does.
He has
a
killer song. It was one of those earliest songs Matt wrote, and man, it just crushes. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I think we covered an awful lot of ground here today. I do want to know though. I know that there's opportunities that come. I know that we kind of came out of the woodwork and we were just like, hey, you want to do the show again? And suddenly you guys are at the Madnani, which by the way, once again, tickets are right here. Discount code, save $5 on your ticket with On Our Stage. It's the name of the podcast. We're all about it. So please get tickets and join us on March 21st, February 21st, 22nd, and the 28th of March 1st, 2 p.m. matinees, family-friendly show. Bring the family. It's a great time.
Kids.
Yeah, bring the kids.
Jokes for them.
Be inspired right now. Everybody needs to be inspired to create. And if nothing else, this show has shown me that, that it is inspirational. And I think it's incredibly important to share this. So besides like random people coming out of the woodwork and being like, hey, come do the show, what are your plans for it going forward? Where do you want to take it next?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question because
we were literally talking about this like
right before.
Yeah,
I think obviously musical theater, New York is such a big hub, but we also have a big fan base in LA. So we're exploring what it looks like to continue in LA in like a larger theater where we can build sets. I think that's like the next level. And certainly Hannah, as you mentioned, our director, is so aware of like where we want to take the show.
Yep.
So in LA, it would be just a larger audience with more resources and a longer run and be able to pay our cast even more so we can have more time with them in rehearsals. They're wonderful and they get so much done, but the more time and more resources obviously here in LA because we have been building our audience. And then in New York, as we explore kind of off Broadway there, the first step I think in New York would be like a developmental reading with producers in that city to see who's interested in helping us establish a presence there because we have learned what you do in LA people don't really care about in New York and vice versa. So you really have to start from the ground building up. But we know that we have an incredible show and we've learned how to engage our audience and market the show and talk about it. So we're kind of exploring both cities, larger in LA and getting the groundwork in New York.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know that I've mentioned the Edinburgh Fringe at various points, and I know that just throwing it out there, You want hey, you want to add a logistical nightmare to your whole thing. Like let's move the whole show over to Scotland for a month,
It's a one-person show maybe, but I think that we have a cast of 9.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And just knowing the lodging in Edinburgh at that time is challenging, and like you have to take like buses in. You can't like stay anywhere near venues.
It depends on the deals that you find. When we did Three Can Keep a Secret in Edinburgh last year, we stayed at Edinburgh Napier University in the dorms, and they actually had like 10-person suites and stuff. So it's like you could, individual bathrooms in your bedroom, and then a shared common kitchen and stuff. Like great deal. Shout out to Edlets.
Really does that festival. I mean, like truly that you warriors, all of you, to do it. I've heard it's wild.
Yeah, I'm already
sleeping. It's wild. It's a great time. But also, that's getting the show out to a global marketplace.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you got it.
I think we have some solid ideas, and we are also in that stage of being really open to. I think a big word that we have talked about throughout this show has been kismet, because we have really found. It's like at every turn we have found the right person for the job and the right place at the right time. And so I think like I am so open to the universe and what it has, what is in store. There's like no in the vocabulary at the moment.
We've also been talking about licensing to schools because it's family friendly. It has 2 women at the center. While the younger generation is getting a little bit more nostalgic for like analog technology. Like it's interesting they now have like and the camcorders and stuff. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, this is cool now. And I'm like,
Like
Our
ensemble,
Dungeons and Dragons is the cool thing. I feel like I was born in the wrong generation, So
yeah. But yeah, like, and I think our ensemble is like it can like expand or be more compact depending on like what a school needs. So there's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah,
our big thing when we made the show is like we want every single person that comes on to feel like they have a moment to shine
in our cast.
So it's like our ensemble does so much, and every single one of them has a moment on stage that we get to showcase how talented they are, because like, we have our lead characters, but like the ensemble is like such a huge part of what makes this show work.
Absolutely.
And it would not be at the level that it is without what they bring to it. And the moments that they get to really like show off what they can do.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So we're open to all these things. Yeah.
If you're talking about licensing it to schools and stuff like that, you do happen to know a guy who's published at Concord, so I could put in a word. So
yeah, well, let's talk, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'd be proud. I'd be proud.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Greg. And now the Hollywood question, the most important Hollywood question of the bunch. What else you working on?
Oh boy. Wow. I am.
This could be a whole nother podcast episode. I get this one.
I'm a writer, so I'm always writing something. I am currently. I'm working on. I have a pilot for an animated show that I'm currently trying to like push forward at the moment, called Tasterman, about a young woman who comes from a long line of food tasters for royalty.
Okay.
Like a medieval times show.
So fun.
Where she is suddenly forced into being the king's food taster and has to not die in the process. And then I'm also working on writing a feature right now that will hopefully go out for financing soon. So just a lot of, you always have to have like a million plates spinning. So I'm just sort of in the process of spinning some of those plates at the moment.
Epic. I love that. And Mary?
Same, very much. As a indie film producer, I think I've got like 6 projects in various states of development, features mainly. I've done a lot of short films, and I'm moving into like, especially financing the feature versions of some of them. But that obviously takes a while. And so of course I'm developing the next musicals. It's amazing how this is, again, that idea of like, you do it, you see you can do it, and then you understand like what elements of the story are really important and what people relate to and what you're excited about. So right now I have 3 ideas, and Wesley's heard about one of them, but I'm sure one of these ideas is going to be a partnership with us, and to not think of Fringe as the first stage to take it to. It just feels like such a natural place. But definitely like knowing that we can do musicals, and that we can do them well, I think has really inspired me to at least do that in the way of like having ownership and the ability to make something, and not be dependent upon other people. So I think I will always be developing and making indie musicals with Fringe as such a wonderful stage to put them up at, while continuing to try to finance independent film, knowing that that's like a much longer journey with a lot more gatekeepers involved.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think I'm always just like when I love to write, but I love to like actually make the thing. I think the biggest, I'll give another shout out to, I do a show quarterly at the Glendale Room called the Half Hour Hour, which is a table reading show for writers. So they can submit pilots and have them read by actors and have an audience. So I also do that, look that up. But I think I'm always obsessed with like, I hate how much like energy you put into writing, and then like it just lives on your desktop or in other people's inboxes who promise they're going to read them someday. So I'm always looking for ways to actually make the thing or get it on its feet, even to a small degree. Because we would be novelists if we just wanted it to live in other people's minds. And the collaboration of this is why I love this. Why I love writing for performance, writing for actors, writing for an audience, or like I love watching people put their own things on top of what started in your brain. So I
love all that. Well, hey, if you ever need a space or people, I got both. So you just let me know.
Great. Yay.
Excellent.
Sounds great.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thank you both so much for taking the time today. Really appreciate you. I'm so excited for the show. Once again, everybody, the show is One Up the Musical. It is going to be at the Madnani Theater, February 21st, 22nd, 28th, and March 1st at 2 p.m. Please grab tickets, use the discount code, save $5 with discount code On Our Stage. It's the name of the podcast. Makes it real easy. Thank you both again. Oh, get the Cast album. It is streaming currently on Apple Music and Spotify. What's the most popular track on Spotify?
Well, actually, this week it's been Undeniable, but overall, it is now Deep Sea Diver.
Yeah, it changes.
It changes a lot. Yeah,
That's cool.
It was Player 2 for a little while. The opening has gotten some big.
Wasn't Player 2 big because the actor's mom was just listening to it on repeat? Did I overhear that?
Eric's family is so supportive. They are so wonderful.
I love that.
The first week, Player 2 was like so much higher than the others. And when we told the cast, Eric's like, "That's my mom."
Yes, just playing it on repeat.
It's so cool to see, though. It does change every week,
which is so funny because we got one note to cut that song from somebody, and I was like, over my dead body.
Absolutely, that's the '80s power love ballad. You're out of your mind.
And honestly, like that song kills every time.
Every time. He's so.
Well, and that's the fun part about feedback is that when you know the show well enough, you know what rings true and you know what's BS. You know?
We've gotten some very helpful notes, and like that's all to say, like we're very thankful for people that gave us notes.
Yeah, very much.
But there were some where we were like, no.
Yeah. We won't go into them, but they were
Yeah.
Sure.
That is Player 2 is the song of my heart.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Awesome. Mary, Wesley, thank you so much for your time today. We will, I'll see you guys at the show next weekend. And I hope you guys have a great one. And please let me know what you got coming up next, whatever else we can do to support. We'd be proud to do so.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you for everything you're doing. We appreciate
My pleasure. All right, well, that's it for the first episode of On Our Stage. Are you as hyped as we are for One Up the Musical? Let me know in the comments below. We'd like to thank Mary and Wesley for coming onto the pod today and for talking about One Up. This is clearly a passion project for them, and I can't wait to see what's in store for them and the cast and crew as the show continues its commanding march towards success. I hope you'll join us at the Madnani for One Up the Musical during its run over the next 2 weekends, and for the other numerous shows and events we have coming up in our spaces, including Sleuth Fest at the Hobgoblin Playhouse. To learn more about those projects and more, please check out the links in the video description down below. Thank you again for joining us, friends. We'll be back next week with another exciting interview, this time with a very special production that's near and dear to my heart. Until then, we'll see you at the theater. Thanks, y'all.